Yeah.
Welcome to another episode, first episode, Building the Firm, with yours truly, Garry the fourth. 5, 10, 15 years from now, I can look back on this video and be like, damn, like, well, look how far we came. Y'all can do that too. I have videos on this channel from like 2018, 2019 that shows like part of the progressions. And even like last year, started 2024, like hella, I vlogged like 100 vlogs. Showed y'all that was like my lowest for real, but I documented that time. And I got hella more footage from that whole season from the past year as well. That'll all come out in due time. I'm
new there. It's possible because people have done it, but that position is something that's not where my best started.
What you guys are about to watch is Building the Firm, which is the backstory, some context about my journey into private equity and capital markets, things of that nature, raising capital thus far. And I wanted to go ahead and just give some backstory as you guys watch some of the clips you're gonna see and kind of give you guys some context. I have a video where I sat down with this gentleman to buy his power cleaning business, his carpet cleaning business. And that was the first attempt at an acquisition in 2023. And through this conversation, we had a lot of things that we spoke about. His life, his journey, his pathway. A lot of what it is just getting to know the person and see if it makes sense. So initially everything was sounding pretty cool.
Part of business is in, and I said, man, I was talking to a guy who owns the biggest pressure washing company. I didn't tell you this either. I own a chemical called, if you just Google it, it's a plant protection. When I got into exterior cleaning, and people were killing a lot of people's plants from sodium hypochlorite coming off the roof.
Yeah. There were some signs in there that kind of indicated that this might not be a good opportunity. And what that looked like was, there was this time where we were speaking with this gentleman and he was kind of like on edge, antsy and whatnot, but then he would call us in the middle of the night, just with the craziest stories, explanations, things of that nature. And then eventually came about that he mentioned he was battling recovery from an addiction. And it was kind of in that moment where it just made sense for us to step away and not be able to go into this venture at that time, because we just weren't in the position to, one, maneuver someone going through that, but two, just handle something like an undertaking of owning and taking over somebody else's business in the midst of that, right? It was going to be a lot because we were still going to have to deal with the owner because we're going to do creative financing. And so because of that, we kind of took a step back and decided to go ahead and focus our efforts into learning more and kind of just maybe focusing on pulling capital together and doing things of that nature. So that's how it went.
See, I've been going on and on forever. The haters.
Now, after we sat down with that gentleman and talked to him about his business or whatever, or even slightly bit before that, me and my partner, we were thinking of ways that we can put this capital together because we had locked in on being private equity, right? So we knew of a lot of people that wanted possibly to be involved, friends of ours, people that had good careers, good income, or at least were on the pathway to it. And we decided to get them all together in a room. And prior to that, we had a meeting where we sat there, and at this time we were getting people business capital, business funding, and helping them grow their business ventures, etc. And eventually this is what I got my chops in, where I was refer people to different business funding companies that I knew, and ultimately got that experience that would help translate into what I do now. However, before we got everybody in this room, we're just seeing how we can put the picture together.
Immediately flipping that $297K, and that's all your money.
Yeah, man. So that's $6 million, right? So if we're working with $6 million, then we have $5 million from SBA. Involved a lot of leveraging of SBA financing structures that they had at the time. Some laws have changed since then. That also included things like stacking capital, lines of credit, circulating debt, things of that, and some debt servicing, of course. Just think of all the different angles where we can get that first $4 to $5 million collectively in that room, leveraging a structure like business credit and business capital, which is all we knew at the time, right? One is active, one is on ice. And then for the people that fit the bill, or like, we need another capital raise, we're gonna go 400,000. That's one line. Okay, all you gotta do is go to that bank relationship, we're having really good banking relationships this year for us, just so we can build that relationship, so y'all can work whatever you guys want.
Called publicity.
And bro, that's gonna be crazy for a doc.
It's called publicity.
We didn't know about as much about seller financing, as much about leveraging the income of the business itself. That was a concept that was hard to illustrate and communicate to those people in the room because it was something so new for us that we were still learning. And this is a situation that kind of just developed into us really just getting together and deciding, and I have all the 2 hours worth of footage that you guys can see over there, but it became just a moment for us all to sit down and gain some clarity, hear each other's perspectives, talk about our different pathways, and see that, okay, the intention and the idea and the people could be rallied together to support a vision and eventually become something real. And that's really how ultimately I understand what that meeting was. And that was on the 1st of January, 2024.
How are you?
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
As well, man, but definitely being an advocate for anyone who, you know, would be interested in pursuing the same goals, the entrepreneurial goals that I have, mixed with obviously like having an extensive catalog, Rolodex of music, man, some dope music, bro. I really want to go down as like that guy, like, you know what I
On
mean?
the road to that as well. Currently, I am getting my graduates at the University of Miami for my master's in business with the focus on marketing. I actually just took a real estate class, which then
That's literally all that sounds like the same.
broke out to why.
You impress me too, bro. You have an extensive resume, bro, and you look really young. Yeah.
The same thing as us. Go down the path of what I want out of this life, right? And I decided last year that I will die doing whatever we're building right here. I will die behind it. I'll give my life to this. Okay? Because what I want to build is not something just for me, my family.
But doing that would also increase your IRR as well.
Like job share results, right?
Remember, reality is
The vetting process for us is about to start.
Okay.
It hasn't even started. You know?
After that, we can make the next decision. But we're going to make decisions together. We're going to create principles, and that's what we're going to abide by.
I just drop holes in the gas industry, especially in deep water exploration. It's to put holes in the ground as fast as possible. Then I think from there, I think we reconvene, and I think we should make monthly meetups. I mean, I will oversee some holes, you know, as much as possible, just join in through the phone.
Yeah.
And
His uncle owns a law firm, and they have all these different type of aspects. So that's something that I want to talk to you about. That I had in mind. So, like I said, everybody in the group chat has their skill set, has something they can uniquely.
you said
Yes.
For debt service, and we'll probably have somebody that's like the expert on that. We're like, hey, because we're gonna be able to work the numbers out. Because essentially how it's gonna go is we're gonna know in most cases we'll get the averages, right? So it's gonna be okay, average for 12 months to service. We're gonna give you a number for what the height of that interest is gonna cost you. And you're gonna need to set that money aside. That's gonna be, we'll have nothing to do with that. But we're gonna give you the numbers, we're gonna do the math so you have that guidance. That's what you pay for.
150K, we have a service where you can invest into drop shipping, e-commerce, right? And get a return every single month. So your money is working for you instead of just burning in the bank. Money, we're not investing it for you. It's not like a 150K fund. It's totally different. That's in your fund, and we just manage it for you. I like that.
I like that. Because if they do decide to work with us,
Yeah, if they get
and they want
overwhelmed with
their
this
own-
and this, they're like,
and they want the you know, blah blah blah, we'll have our advisor seats and percent ownership in the firm. Very simple. And then in 5 years we'll be part owners in 60 firms.
okay, I like that even better. Fuck the fee, the fuck.
Yeah. But that's how I see that. That's how I see the kickback just off the initial for that internal group. That's how we rate this return. Now, with people outside of that, we raise that money for, it's not going to be as sweet. It's going to be somewhere like, hey, expect this type of return. So it's like at the end of the year, you'll get paid. We'll be better than the market. So like at the end of the year, we'll give you 12%.
Just as long as we're better than the market, we win.
Yeah. The same money you can invest in the market. And we'll even have some of that education, like, hey, here's some options for how you can invest if you want to invest it into
You're
this.
getting it, bro. That's marketing, bro. Because
Exactly.
you're getting it, bro. Having that, hey, no, okay, here you go. Just let me know when you're ready. Okay, read this. Bro.
That's all that is. That initial group, yeah.
Yeah, Okay.
Million a person.
So, okay, you're comfortable with this? Okay, read more about this. By the way, here's some examples of it works. But read more, let us know. Boom. Like, that's what I'm talking about, bro.
As far as the other stuff and there's a short video too. As far as other aspects that people can invest in for like what the dues include, some of those dues would include like videographers, stuff like that, like the media data, and then so you can push it back if you need to. Some of that media data. So we need people that are on call, ready to go all the time for projects. The dues will go to that, so you don't have to come out of pocket and say, hey, just call the people on the team or talk to Jeremiah or link to a website, book something with somebody. You're part of the collective, so you're already paid for it.
I like that. Media, so media.
Yeah, I like that. And then, and that has like its term or whatever.
That's in there.
Business development, yeah. And then I would also say that in addition to that, obviously legal fees, that's a given. And then for us internally, we'll put money aside for like a trip or a vacation, a group, something like that. Group events, whatever we do. Also like renting out spots before we buy one, stuff like that. So it'll be capital that comes from that where it's like, hey, we're gonna host 15 people at this restaurant that your family knows the owner of. Okay, perfect. Okay, our bills, we're gonna prepay. We're gonna pay for $1,000 just to have it open after the hours.
All that shit.
Whatever it needs to be, we're also gonna give a $500 tip to the workers, $1,000 to keep it open late afterward, and then we're gonna go ahead and prepay $1,000 even if the food doesn't come to that total. Just so we can build that relationship so y'all can work whatever you guys want.
It's called publicity, I think.
And bro, that's gonna be crazy for a documentary.
It's called publicity.
We don't need that camera guy, that's gonna be beautiful. Because just imagine him able to document that process. We have little cheers, and then that's how you start off on the episodes. Like, man, it's been a great year, 2024. We did some amazing things, put together $15 million, and bought $50 million with properties and companies. Let's do it bigger and better next year. Cheers. And it starts at day one. Oh my God. And this footage is gonna make it in there somewhere. This is a building blocks, y'all.
It's gonna be very interesting.
Year 2, man. This is fucking year 2.
No little boy shit, real deal. Hey, this is what it is. Business meetings.
You gotta put in the work. So after that, in that room, we decided, okay, we're going to go into the e-commerce space because we had a friend of ours who was very well versed in the space, lots of experience, proof of concept, had went in there, built the e-commerce company, sold it, had that background, right? That a lot of people will question, like, where's the expertise in the coming hand? So he was there to lend that hand and ultimately provide to us the gaps and the connections that we would need to create success. So I did what I do best, which is found the people, brought them together, presented the opportunity, got commitments, and started full speed toward what we're trying to do. And this is what happened mid-2024, early 2024, is we were like, hey, let's build out some e-commerce stores, right? Let's do it on behalf of people. At the time, TikTok Shop was beginning to boom, and there was a huge opportunity. And so we invested probably about $100 or so initially for our first store, and we saw a return within that week of $1,200. So right there in itself, it was like, okay, this can be really, really good, really, really lucrative. Like, this is a great opportunity. And I feel comfortable showing the people, some of the people that are in the room that are in better position, that have maybe disposable income and or good credit enough to where they already have companies, they already have businesses. We can go and get $10,000 to $50,000 for them, invest that into these stores, get that return within 12 months, deliver them more money on their money, debt service through that whole process, and ultimately have a good step toward financial freedom. And the objective was to build these brands off of TikTok Shop, create brand identity.
Y'all should be prepared to get that flash money so that your equity would be worth a lot more and then your asset would be worth a lot more too. Does it make sense? Because right now, if we all plead for a pie, literally you're gonna have to have at least a non-dose. Get some.
And then ultimately, what was going to happen, we're going to build, the store's going to be built to sell. So we're going to build the brand of the store, get good reputation, you know, distribution. So we're going to expand from TikTok Shop into the Amazon space, into selected retailers if it made sense and there was like enough viability within the product. But ultimately the idea was to build these brands to be sold and or create a huge conglomerate of these brands in different niches and then sell that portfolio at some point at a later time. So the same concept of pulling people together, having a vision and a dream about what we're going to build, taking proper steps toward it, and then presenting the opportunity offered to the right people and creating something that would be beneficial to all was presented there and progressed in a more drastic situation. That became something that was really becoming fruitful, like an actual opportunity. Now, what happened during this time and what caused this shift, which was ultimately like necessary for me, but also a huge challenge and became something that I didn't foresee happening, was the person I was partnered with on this business. We just didn't see eye to eye ultimately, and we had to dismantle the business. Now, prior to that, I was already pitching to a lot of my network, and there was a lot of people that had some interest in it. They wanted to see more details, watch it grow more, right? They wanted to see the business go from, okay, $1,200 in sales on $100 in, that's pretty good. Let me see what it looks like after a month or two, and it's a little bit more stabilized, and you know, I can actually see what my $10,000 investment might look like on a stretched out timeline, something more than a week, right? Completely reasonable. I got immense feedback. I made several pitch decks, I made several presentations, and ultimately that built my skin for this business when it came to private equity and presenting offers and deals to people. It's because of that experience that I knew that I could do what I do now, right? 110%, because the people closest to you can keep it real and they're not willing to spare your emotions but give you the true reality of stuff. Why would I be afraid of a stranger? You know, why would I feel fear doing that? And so, like I said, that situation with that partner ultimately just didn't pan out. I, unfortunately, at that time, just did not have the money to do it. I was willing to put in all the sweat equity. I was literally doing as best I can by bringing people to the table. I was giving as much time as I could without, like, you know, completely sacrificing myself. What I mean by that was there were some times where I had to make the decision if I was going to get the $40 or $50 I made that day from Instacarting and put it straight into the business and forgo a payment on a credit card, forgo eating that day. Like, I was making these types of decisions in that space and in that environment. And ultimately, that was just not healthy. That didn't allow me to be the best person I could be through that whole season, like last in 2024, in mid 2024 into the back end. I lost probably like 20 pounds. You know, I was like very sickly. I was definitely not myself, had an extreme lack of confidence. My skin and my back was breaking out. I was just ultimately unhealthy. And that translated into some of what I did with that project, but also that project was breaking me at the same time. And it's the moment I realized, like, truly, like, you can have people that support you, but you can't depend on people. And that's not a shot at the person I was working with, even though we haven't spoken in some time. I personally don't have any true issue with them. You know, I think we're just at two different stages in our life. We aren't able to see eye to eye, and we ultimately just had to disband that partnership because it would have took too much out of each of us. And I'm sure the day will come when we have that conversation, talk about this time. And this is as much I'll say publicly online or whatever, but that was just the situation. And so that led me at the end of 2024 to really have to start defining who I was going to be. And I decided last year that I would die doing whatever we're doing right here. I would die behind it. I'll give my life to this. Okay? Because what I want to build is not something